Welcome to Rachel Uncensored, a show where I talk about whatever the fuck I want with whoever the fuck I want, and we do whatever the fuck we want. Ta-da! This is the only place on the internet where you get an uncensored version of me. I think that's what I'm actually supposed to say.
Yeah.
There's no intro. That'd be ridiculous. That's ridiculous. No. I am here with my co-host of my other podcast, All Things Internet, Emily Brostaff, which isn't her actual last name.
You got it right for once.
But that's not your actual last name. I know your actual last name, too.
Let's hear it.
Bostaff.
Ladies and gentlemen, and theys and thems, look at her go.
So, hello.
Hi.
So, I asked the internet what you guys wanted us to talk about. Is there anything on All Things Internet that you want us to talk about uncensoredly? And everyone wanted us to talk about the LeBrant anti-choice documentary that they had posted. We didn't really censor ourselves. The only thing we did was not cuss.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be mean for the sake of being mean. I strongly disagree with them. And I think that documentary was utterly fucking shitty upon shit. Fuck faces. But
there it is.
But there was nothing, we didn't hold back on our opinions at all.
No. Mm-mm.
So, is there anything else you wanted to say on that?
There's nothing that I would willingly say on the internet. I've said everything internet appropriate on our other podcasts.
Yeah, because
the things I want to say it's just plain out
mean,
right.
spiteful, and that doesn't need to be said. That doesn't that's not going to help anything. That's just not what it is. So,
yeah.
I feel like your volume was a little low.
I'll move my.
Do you have gum in your mouth?
I do not.
Okay, just making sure.
I don't know why that was my first instinct to be like, bah!
Okay, so there's nothing more to talk about with that documentary, I guess. That's what it was.
Is my volume any better?
Oh, you just made some weird noises. Talk.
Is my volume any better?
Yes, it is. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like we covered everything we needed to on that other one without being mean. The rest of the things that I want to say are just cruel and
because this podcast isn't
not deserved, but I just won't put it out there.
Yes, Rachel Uncensored isn't let's be mean. It's I talk about more adult content and I don't watch my language, but I still don't ever want to be a mean, spiteful, petty person and hurt people's feelings. Emily might not have the same guidelines as I do in life, but that's you can be mean, but you have to deal with the repercussions of being a meanie face.
I know.
That's what we're learning. Emily.
Yeah.
The amount of things Emily texts me. Can I say this on the podcast? No. Can I say this? No. Can I post this? Yes. Block that. She's like, okay.
I just always want to make sure. I don't want to ruin anything. But yeah, I have a much harder time censoring myself than you do. Because you're experienced. You've been doing this for a while.
I've been doing this for a long while, so I know how to bite my tongue when needed. Okay. The other thing people wanted us to talk about was, there was two other things. One where people wanted me to finish the stories of my mom, what she would tell. Yes. You wanted to hear these as well. Mm-hmm. So there's someone asked me what I think about when I think of my mother, the story that comes to mind when I think of my mom. And growing up, there were things that stuck out. One was she explained to me that if you have butt sex, this was in high school. I think I was 16 here. I was not having sex in high school at all.
How was this brought up casually? Were you just sitting on the couch watching SpongeBob and she was like, Rachel, by the way.
I remember we were in the van. It was just her and I. She was driving and we were driving from our house passing the gas station. And I remember her being I don't know how it got brought up. Maybe we were talking. I really don't know because it was so just shocking, I think, where she was like, yeah, so just so you know, rule of thumb, as you do, if you ever have butt sex, you can go from vagina to butthole, but never go to from butthole to vagina because that can cause an infection. And I went, okay, I think I knew that. She goes, yeah, just be clean. Mind
Were you like,
I was not allowed, like, it wasn't okay for me to have sex. Like, she wasn't like openly like, yeah, go have sex. She was like, just so you know, for in the future.
I was going to say, were you like a very sex positive household? Like, where you like talked about this kind of stuff?
Well, my mom talked about it. I always knew it. I don't even remember having that conversation, the sex conversation. My mom was always just like very open about that, but we were not allowed to have sex. Like,
Okay.
we weren't supposed to be dating in high school, and my brother started dating Jessica when they were 16, and my mom was like, no, and he's like, yeah, still gonna do it,
Because he's the oldest, right?
yeah. And then neither Trent nor Colleen really dated in high school, and then I finally came around, and my parents kind of gave up on me. Like, they were just tired. They were tired.
Yeah. They were done.
So they were like, yeah, you're not allowed to have a boyfriend. And then at 16, almost 17, I was like, by the way, have a boyfriend. And they're like, no. Okay.
No,
and then,
stop.
but my mom was like, you're not allowed to have sex. And I was like, okay, like, I'll follow that one, because secretly I didn't want to, but I didn't even realize that. I wondered why it was so easy for me to not have sex. I was like, I have so much self-control. I am pure. I'm better than everyone else. Really, I was gay.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I didn't have sex for the first time until I was 19, and I kept thinking to myself, like, yeah, because I had this whole mindset of like, am I better than everyone? And it was just like, no, I just literally was not sexually attracted to boys.
I don't know, like, doing stuff was always fun, but that was just like, for me, it was like, just doing stuff was fun. But I don't know. Then, you know, later in life, it became less and less fun. But I think as like a teenager, just experiencing stuff like that, like being like, oh my God, my body is like, this feels good, or like things are happening, and like there's a tingle down in my dingle. And so that
I'm so uncomfy right now. Wow. All right.
But I think that is like, that's where people kind of get confused, where it's like, okay, well, I am sexually aroused, and this person is of the opposite sex, so that must mean I'm sexually attracted to them. But really, you close your eyes, and there's just things happening to your body. Yeah, I mean, for me,
I enjoyed the attention.
Yes,
like,
and
loved the attention. But anything sexual, I was like,
I know a lot of girls who, and me included, you just like attention. So like, someone's giving you attention, you like that, you mistake that for liking the person.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So that also happens. Anyway, so I was not in a sex positive household, but I knew a lot. My mom taught me a lot. So that was one. Okay. Was she told me you can go vagina to butt, but not butt to vagina, in case of infection. Okay. Like, because you don't want poop in your vagina hole. So
vagina hole. Scientific term, vagina hole.
Yes. And then the other story that stuck out, there's three. There's that one. Then one time we were holding hands, walking into Long's Drugs, which was the now CVS in Santa Barbara. And we're in the parking lot, we're walking, and I was young. Like, I couldn't have been past 10. And we saw two gay men holding hands walking towards us. And as they passed, my mom goes, do you want to know how gay men have sex? And I said, sure. And she goes, in the butt. And I said, okay. And we kept walking.
You're like, I just wanted some ice cream, but vibes. Thanks. Noted.
There was no follow-up. I was like, cool. Because kids don't care. And that's how I think my mom approached most sex things, was just like, here's this information. I was like, cool. And then later in life, I like kind of figured it out a little bit more. I was like, okay. Yeah. I remember her teaching me how a tampon worked, where we were in the parking lot of Taco Bell.
You in parking lots. Wow. All right. She's like, when is the opportune time to talk to my child about, adult topics in this 5-second walk from the car to the store doors? There, she can't ask any questions. I'm just going to drop facts and run.
I guess. Maybe it was because like her and I running errands was the only time we were alone, and I wasn't distracted by something. Very just like distracted, and we didn't have siblings with me, and my dad wasn't around. It was just her and I. And so she we were in the van Taco Bell, and she She got out a tampon and she took her straw and got the tea out from her tea and like showed me how it expanded using her teeth. And I was like, oh, cool. And I learned how a tampon
The like
worked.
lady at the windows like holding her drink and she's like, ma'am, and your mom's just like doing a science experiment with her tampon in the driver's seat. Ma'am, can you please pull forward to the next window?
Mom's like, I'm having a moment with my daughter. And then the last memory was she told us if we ever got kidnapped and a man essayed us and put his privates in our mouth, to bite it off, run, find the nearest policeman or police station, spit it out, and say, find that man. That was what we were told to do if we got kidnapped. Me and my sister.
And what parking lot were you in for this one?
Dude, she had been telling me that since I was like a wee little tot, and it was like constantly resaid to me. So I don't remember a specific one. She really wanted us to be prepared if we were. I had separation anxiety from my mother. I'd cry if she ever left my sight. So I wasn't really gonna get kidnapped. But
right,
she prepared me. I was ready.
Okay, yeah,
I was ready.
The kids I nannied, I would always tell them, I was like, if someone picks you up, like the first thing you need to scream is like, this person isn't my mom or this person isn't my dad. And then you need to keep screaming and like scream fire if you have to like get people to like look at you. But yeah, bite it off. Bite it off. Much more direct.
Keep it in your mouth as you run full force to the nearest police something. Then spit it out.
Wow.
And say, find that man. I mean,
wow.
It's
all right.
It's a plan.
It is.
It's a plan. So
oh my God.
Those were the stories.
I love it. I wanted to like go back where you said like kids don't care about things. So for those of you that don't know, I was a nanny for 9 years. So this was like my full-time career. And I can't even tell you every single family I was with, the kids would always ask, because I don't hide like my sexuality or my relationships from the kids I nanny. And I make that very clear to the parents before they hire me. And every single family I've been with, the kids have asked me, 1, how I'm going to have babies, and 2, if I'm allowed to get married. And it was so cute. There were these 2 girls that I worked with in Washington, D.C. for 3 years. And the older one had just had, her first sex talk, and we gave her like these books to read, and we were talking to her about stuff. And, she's like flipping through the pages, and she like looks at how like mechanically sex works between a heterosexual couple.
Yeah.
And she looks at me, and she had just learned this term, and she looks at me and she goes, Emily, because you're married to a girl, I guess you're just going to be a virgin for the rest of your life. And I was like, yeah, I guess so, sweetie. I guess so. And then her sister ended up asking me one day, because she had just had the sex talk and like, like a watered down version of like where babies come from. Because I think she was only like 8 at the time. But yeah, she looks at me and she goes, Emmy, how are you and, ex gonna have babies? Like, neither of you have a penis. And I was just like, oh, sweetie. I was like, we go to like a special doctor. Like I was trying to figure out like a kid version to give them. I was like, we go to a doctor, like we pick out someone that like helps us have this baby. The doctor puts the baby in our tummy, and that's when it grows, and yada, yada, yada. And she was just like, who do you pick? And I was like, oh, well, we have lots of choices, presented to us, and we get to like, see this booklet, and it's basically full of men's pictures and info, and we get to pick. And she was just like, okay. And then like a week later, we were on a nighttime walk, and she goes, so Emmy, now that you're married, when are you going to start going on these dates with all these guys that you get to pick? Like she thought like you go to the doctor's office, you get like,
they just make up, they fill in the blanks.
Right. It was just so cute. But yeah, they're like, kids just like do not care. They ask the funniest freaking questions. But yes, in case anyone's wondering, I am a virgin and always will be. So
well, that's actually false. But neither of us were gold star. But I was never taught how lesbians have sex.
No, same.
I do not remember that conversation at all. I don't think, do people have that? I feel like
we do. So like with all the families that I nanny for, when the kids get to the age where they're having the mechanical sex talks, that's something I make very aware to the parents, that we like sit down and we normally have this conversation together, is like, we're going to present the heterosexual like way of having children. And then there are these very special books that I get the kids, and they're so cool. I'm trying to think of the name of them if like anyone out there wants to buy them. I'll find it. But basically it explains like, the heterosexual way of having sex. And then when you get another chapter in, it explains like sex is more than just for having babies. Like you can have sex for pleasure. And then it gets into like, this is how, two gay men have sex. This is how gay women have sex. This is like, and it goes into all the different like options and like explains it like very watered down kid version. But like it's out there because like I feel like you need to explain it because if you like don't explain it,
if you don't, their friends are, and you have no idea what their friends think is happening or what info they have in their head. So like if you're the parent, you should be the one informing your children. This leads us to this. There was a question on Insta story. A lot of people wanted us to talk about sex. Someone asked, "Is scissoring a thing?" Because
you go first.
I remember people making that joke. Scissoring is a joke. And then I was, just put two and two together. Oh, you do that. I mean, yes, it is a thing. Yes, it is a thing. It's not everyone's favorite. Sometimes it is people's favorites. But yes, it happens. But that's not exclusively how lesbians have sex.
No, what I always like to say, and like maybe this is not the right way to explain it, but like dumbed down.
Two people with vaginas have sex. Sorry, is that? Yeah. I don't know. It's just. I'm sorry. I was realizing. Oh, not every lesbian has a vagina, so they wouldn't. So I was.
Oh, true.
Sorry.
Yes. Where'd you go?
Thank you.
Yes. So. I always tell people the way that two people with vaginas have sex is, we do everything you do. We just have to use outside sources to do it. So it's like your version of foreplay is our version of sex. And like, unless you want to like include like strap-ons and like dildos and stuff, but like it's
and I think scissoring is the only thing that only two people with vagina can do.
I think personally, scissoring is not my thing. I've tried it twice, didn't enjoy it twice. It wasn't quite hitting the spot for me. Pun intended. So I don't. Like,
I have heard that a lot of women put a vibrator in between. So maybe that would work for you.
That's brilliant. Wait, have you? Well, nope. I'm not going to ask first the question.
Emily wanted this to be a very sex-oriented thing. I have a personal thing where I don't want to divulge my sex stories or personal sex things because they involve another person. And because I've only been with one of each sex, it is very easy to deduce
guess who
is who. And that's not just my story. That is also their story. So I will allude to things that like I personally like. And I will say like, this is a thing. It's not all people's things. Like I will say that.
Yeah.
But I personally don't like sharing sex things just because it's like my personal ones.
Right. It's just so easy for people to guess.
Yes.
Who it was with.
And also, and it's their story as well as mine. But that's their story, and their stuff isn't on the internet. And I also don't have to. I can also say someone told me this, or this is a thing, or just be like, I heard the story once. So you'll never know what's my story versus someone else's. You're always gonna be questioning. I'd be like, so my friend told me, like, was this her? I need to know.
Right.
Anyway.
Wait, okay, so going back. So before I had sex with a woman for the first time, genuinely, and this is the worst advice, so no one do this, but I watched lesbian porn because I was like, I need to know.
Don't watch porn for advice on sex, ever. Someone also asked us our thoughts on porn. Don't watch, like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Porn can be extremely detrimental to your mental health and to your sex life. And don't
and it's... Anyway, go.
Into what?
I was gonna say it's like the leading cause of sex trafficking and like abuse and like so like
no
porn, anyway
porn it can be very, very, very bad, but don't watch porn for advice on sex,
especially lesbian porn where their nails are like out to here and the girls are just like if you're just listening right now, just picture someone like trying to rub a smudge off a window.
Washing a car window really fast.
Yeah, I mean, even I had never had sex with a woman before. Like, no one had explained sex with a woman with me to me before, but even watching it, I was like, that's not right. Like, I know what I like, and that's not right.
So someone also wanted to talk about the orgasm gap. Usually in heterosexual relationships, men orgasm way more often than women. And I think that also has to do with guys get sex advice from either porn or other guys who are getting it from porn. So they're not taught actually how to please a woman, because porn is created to satisfy the man's idea of sex, which they have all just created and decided, and then women are just left in the shitter, like whatever. Right. So, I mean, if you want to know how to have sex,
wasn't that so good for you? Wasn't me pegging you for 5 minutes flat so good for you? You almost there? Okay, great. Let's high five.
No.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like porn is the issue in so many things, but
yeah,
I don't get advice from porn. Just don't.
Yeah. So what did you do? Like, when you knew, am I allowed to ask this? Like, what you did to prepare?
I didn't.
The woman was too stunned to speak. You just went and you were just like, fuck it. I'll just wing it. Like,
I knew what I liked.
Oh my God.
And I have no problem communicating and listening. I'm great at both.
That's the thing. Okay, that's something else we talk about a lot. I was not taught to communicate during sex, like not through any of my partners, not through sex education, nothing like that. And so the concept of telling someone during sex that they're missing the spot or they're not doing it right that's so foreign to me.
Okay, but that is how the other person learns. They're not going to know. They're not going to learn unless you tell them. There's nothing wrong with being go left, go right. Don't stop that. Or hold on, let me try this instead. Or go get the vibrator. There's nothing wrong with saying those things.
I know. I need to adopt this attitude. I just, in my mind, I'm like, just don't say anything. And then I'm like, God damn, like, that was so bad. And then it's like my own fault because I didn't say anything.
Yes. And also, your partner shouldn't get offended if they go, I know, because that happens a lot. I've heard in heterosexual relationships where the girl like puts the guy's hand where it needs to be and he moves it back. That
to the outside of the lip.
Yeah, no.
He's like on her thigh. While he's like Googling on the side, like, where is the clitoris?
He doesn't care.
True.
But sorry, my headphones are falling off. I forgot what we were talking about. I got really distracted by the thought of all that.
How you knew what to do.
Oh no, your partner shouldn't get offended by that. And if they do, what in the world? Then they don't actually care about your satisfaction. They care that, like, I don't even know what they care about. They shouldn't get offended.
I think it's just self-esteem issues.
Have you never had someone tell you something in bed?
And that's feeding into my God complex right there. I've only had positive feedback. And so I've never had someone like give me direction or like, I don't know, like say they didn't like something but maybe they were just the same way. Like maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. And like maybe they were just the same way. They're like, oh, I don't want to hurt her feelings or something. But like,
I don't like if someone gives direction, if someone goes, you're doing it wrong, which I've never gotten, but that would obviously be rude and not good. But it doesn't mean that like if someone's like, oh, do this instead, that doesn't mean that you're bad at sex. So I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, the next time I have sex, I'm definitely adopting the Rachel attitude. So I'm like, I'm gonna say, God, what would Rachel Ballinger do? I need one of those bracelets. WWRBD. Just.
Please don't look at that while you're having sex.
What were you thinking about, baby?
Ew.
What would Rachel Ballinger do? Yeah, I know. I need to be better about that. So yes, don't get your sex advice from porn. Communicate your needs during sex. Figure out if scissoring's a thing for you.
Also ask them what they want during.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't do that either, do you?
I'm genuinely trying to think. No, I mean, I never was just like, oh, is that good? Like, or like, you know, like, do you like that? I'd always just be like, because, you know, like when you're a lesbian, we've talked about this too. You have sex routines. Like, you know, you're going to use a certain toy or you're going to use like I don't know, like, you know what's gonna happen. Like, it's like planned out because it's not like, I don't know. Am I explaining this poorly? Like, you have
there sometimes are, but not. I've learned that that's not the best way to just have a routine and then stick to that.
Like, you know, it's not just like one. It's like what I mean to say is, like, I would communicate in terms of like, what do you want to use? Like, that's what I would say. Like, like, what do you want to use? How do you want our sex to go tonight? Like, you know, not like that. Like, I do it in like a much hotter way, but like, you know, that is how I communicate. But I don't think I've ever like said, yeah, like, I don't know.
What do
I don't
you
think
want?
I've ever. Yeah, no, I asked that, but I don't think I've ever like in the middle been like, oh, is that good? So maybe I have been. Yeah. Maybe I have not been the best.
Okay.
This is Emily's therapy session. Like, taking notes. I'm like, okay, next time.
I mean, next time you have sex, can we do another episode? You talk about
Girl. Yeah. I'm very excited. I maybe have something lined up.
Oh,
I'm like,
shit.
Yeah. So it's gonna be very different. Not with a man. Thank you.
Oh.
Just I didn't want anyone thinking that.
I can't
Still
imagine you with a man at all.
Literally. Okay. Well, and when I told,
Wait.
I was like telling my
Wait. We have to check to see if we have a sponsor for today. Sponsor. Continue.
When I was like telling my friend, because she was like, what do you think you guys are going to talk about today? And I was like, I don't know. I think Rachel's going to surprise me. But like, you know, we did have a lot of sex questions like come in. And she was like, oh, are you going to tell like Rachel about that one time that like you were with a guy? And are we allowed to say like BJ?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That I mean,
meant.
Yeah. It's not a trigger. It's not a word you have to give a trigger warning for or anything or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I was with before I figured out. I didn't figure out I was gay until college. And so I dated guys until then. The amount of months that some of these men thought I was on my period is just mind blowing. It'd be like 4 weeks in a row, and they'd be like, "Oh, do you think your period's stopping anytime soon?" I'd be like, no, sorry, still real strong. Anyway, but then one of the times, so I dated this guy like on and off for a few years, and one of the times he asked finally, because I never offered, because again, gay, didn't realize it, but he said, would you do that for me? And I was just like, in my head, I was like, don't throw up, like that's disgusting, but like you have to be, you have to reciprocate, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was just like, okay,
You don't
I'll try.
have to. No one has to reciprocate.
Yes. Right.
But it is no.
Consider it in certain situations.
I mean, that's something you have to figure out in your own relationship, but no one has to do anything. Continue.
Yes. In mine, it would have been reciprocated.
Yes.
So yeah, he was like, am I allowed to tell this story? Is this like too uncensored?
You're fine.
Okay. I'm so used to ATI where like
I
have to say, gosh darn it, and like I can't like talk freely. But yeah, anyway, so he was just like, like, would you, whatever. And I was just like, okay, I'll try. And so, I'm like mentally prepping myself. And then like literally like I go to do it, and like my mouth was a solid 6 inches away, and I already was like, huh, huh. And literally he just went, mew.
Stop.
And he was like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Didn't even touch me.
You made a dick soft.
Yeah. So that is basically the overarching picture of what it was like for me to be with men. Just making dicks soft left and right.
They were unsatisfied.
Well, that seems like a them problem.
It seemed like a you problem. It was you.
It was.
You were gay.
It was. God, yeah, I wish I had figured it out sooner.
Someone asked if we have any hard limits in the bedroom. I mean, no men. And then, yeah, do not slap me in the face and do not spit on me. Oh, shit, Emily!
It's kind of hot. Not gonna lie.
You want to be spit on? No.
I wouldn't mind.
No. Do not. What about slapping across the face? Emily! I'm not shaming you. I'm not shaming you. I just wasn't expecting
I'm not ashamed.
it.
Yeah. This is something I recently discovered about myself. There have been some new experiences and some new information brought to light in my life after 30 years. And I have discovered I kind of like that stuff.
Oh, shit!
Yeah. So
I did realize. Oh, my girlfriend's texting me. She's babysitting and sent me a picture of a Barbie.
we're like, blowjobs, spit in my face, daddy. Here's a Barbie.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I realized what I actually like when I was with men versus now women. My sexual, like, while I realized I liked women, but what I thought I liked in the bedroom was just false. And then I realized what I actually like in the bedroom now that I'm with a woman. And, you know, I realize that my limits are slapping across the face and spitting in my face or anywhere on my body. I don't get the spitting. I really don't. I no shame. Just don't understand. Is there any limits for you? Like, will you be gagged or blindfolded or tied up? Or is there any limits? Oh, I can't be
butt stuff.
I can't be tied up just for the mere fact that I'm so fucking ticklish. And my girlfriend is a little butt face, and she will tickle me at any moment. And I'm like, it's not cute, babe. This isn't flirting. She's like, so I don't trust her. I don't trust her to tie me up and not tickle the shit out of me. Don't trust her.
If that's the worst thing that you can't trust her for, love it. I'm scared my girlfriend's gonna tickle me.
But I really don't know if I would enjoy being tied up if I wasn't ticklish. Literally, because I'm just so ticklish, I can't do it. The thought of it stresses me out. Wow.
I just don't like to be in control. Like, I want you to take control and you to tell me what to do. And
you're a bottom.
Yeah, but I also like I'm a switch. Like I love pleasing women, and like I feel like I'm good at it, and like I love that aspect.
But when it's time for you to be pleased, you just want to be dominated.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I won't do butt stuff. That weirds me out.
Okay, so there's your line.
No shame to anyone that does like that. It's just not for me.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's your line. Is butt stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that we're just learning new things about people. You now know that I like to be spit on.
Would you
and I now
ever
know
be
that
whipped?
You don't.
I love that you're so open to this. Wait,
Yeah.
have you done any of this? Wait, I'm trying to picture who you've done this with.
You don't know. You
Got
don't know
it.
who it is.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Great.
No.
Good.
Yeah. No. I had one partner that was very open to experimenting.
Okay.
And yeah, there was lots of experimenting, and it was, it was good. So, but
then you
again,
didn't do that in your next relationships.
No, because it was all me. I would get in my head. I'd be like, it's weird to ask. Like, clearly there, because the whole reason I did it with her is because it was her suggestion, and so I didn't feel weird asking. But then when we broke up and I got with someone else, it was like it never got brought up. The topic of kinks never got brought up. Like, it was just very like I don't want to use the word normal, but it was very basic sex. And so, and like there was never any inclination that they wanted any more. And so I was like, ugh, don't be weird. Like, I didn't want to like weird them out. And so that's just how I lived the rest of my life. I was just like, ugh. And now I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's not how it's going to be anymore.
Because you weren't happy. So
yeah,
got to be happy.
Yeah.
I feel like I right from the get-go, my girlfriend and I openly talked about what we do and do not like. I think also that's why I kind of went into with some confidence, because I was like, I just made mental notes of what she said, and I was like, okay, not doing that. I'm allowed to do this.
Right.
So open communication is the key to happiness.
Yes. I'm now doing that.
Okay.
So
good. And when can we expect an update from you on your next adventures?
Do you really want me to?
Not. Yes. Yes. What do you mean?
Not this upcoming weekend, but the next weekend.
Oh, shit! Emily's gonna have sex. Emily is gonna say, slap me, daddy.
I mean, if that's what you're into.
I'm going to send you a What Would Rachel Ballinger Do bracelet.
Please. I'm telling you, it just needs to be one of the blue ones that says WWRBD on it. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Let me see if we have any other questions. But one more time, let's check to see if we have another sponsor for today. Sponsor. All right. Someone says, do you like ass or tits more?
Ass.
I like my girlfriend.
Boo. Tomato. We want answers.
I saw someone ask on Instagram, how do I still be a good friend even though I'm really jealous of her relationship? Like, or no, so what did she say?
So like not you. They're saying for them.
Yeah, they're like, I'm really jealous of my friend's relationship. How do I still be a good friend? And I'm like, one, you're not a good friend if you're like harvesting jealousy and negativity and resentment.
I think if it's a jealousy as in like you want to be with that person and like you can't get over that, I think you need to do some introspecting and maybe have a conversation. But I think if it's like you don't like their partner.
No, I think it was like her friend is in a relationship and she's jealous of the relationship. Therefore, she's she's jealous that they're in, like she wishes she was also in a relationship.
Oh, okay.
That's how I took it home. Let me see if I think I screenshotted it, but then might have deleted it because I was like, if you're harvesting resentment, then you are immediately not going to be treating the person as kindly as you should, whether you realize it or not. And therefore you're being a bad friend. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this. Okay. Did I delete it? Emily?
I would just, while you're looking, I would just like to clarify. I do like tits, but goddamn if you have a good ass. Way to win me over.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you support your friend's relationship even if you're kind of jealous, is what they said.
Even if you're kind of jealous. I think if you're jealous, like you want to be with your friend, I think I wouldn't know what to do in that situation. Because that doesn't you're not a bad friend for having feelings for your friend, but like it's when you let those feelings affect your actions is when that crosses that territory. So if you're being mean to their partner, or like if you're being mean to your friend, or like if you're making them uncomfortable, like I would say that's when like you need to take a step back and separate yourself and do some thinking.
Jealousy isn't cute on anybody. So like you can, I think there's a difference between like, I don't think jealousy is a good really trait to have. So like, it's not really like a positive emotion. So if you're feeling jealous of something, I feel like you need to, I don't think you should. I think you need to like figure out your stuff. You could be like longing for that. Like, oh, my friend's in a really great relationship. I long for a relationship like that. That's, I think, totally fine. But jealousy to me harbors resentment and negativity. Instead of being like, oh man, I really want that. How can I obtain that? I think there's a difference there. So if you are feeling jealous, then you are holding resentment and probably treating people bad. Like, how do you be supportive if you're jealous? That right there is saying you're not being supportive. Like, you're not being a good person.
They phrased it very ambiguously, so I don't know. But I always like to take the route of like everyone is entitled to their feelings, no matter like how wrong or like, you know, your feelings are never wrong. Your feelings are your feelings. You're entitled to your feelings, but like you should work on controlling how
some of your feelings are going to create negativity. Like there are negative feelings that will create more negativity around you if you don't work through them. And just like everything, things have consequences. Negative feelings have consequences. And so feelings of jealousy will then lead to resentment and probably make you act negatively towards other people. If you're feeling negative things, you're probably going to act, whether you realize it or not, act negatively towards somebody. So you got to figure that shit out.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I like to bury my feelings. That's between me and my therapist on Tuesdays from 11 to 12:30.
I called Emily this morning and she's like, hey, I'm in therapy. Can I call you back? I was like, sure. And she looked totally fine. And then she calls me back and I was like, oh, looks like you weren't crying during therapy. Good job. And she's like, it was a stupid one. It was one of those things where like, I don't have time to think about my emotions. So she thinks I'm doing really well, but really I'm just focusing on work. I still feel all the negative things.
I know. Cause she always asks me the same question. She's like, how much sleep did you get this week? How many times did you cry this week? And I was like, oh, like I only cried once this week. And like, it was a valid reason. Like, you know, it's always valid to cry, but like, you know, for me, I was like, it was a valid reason to cry this time, you know? And she was just like, okay, that's progress. And I was like, no. It's because I'm so busy.
Yeah.
I don't have time to have feelings.
I've been there.
I know.
You hide it. Okay. Well,
yeah.
I don't have anything else to talk about. That's been 40 minutes of pretty much talking about sex, which is kind of oh my God, I'm sweating. Look how much I'm sweating.
It's hard to see. Oh no, I see it.
Oh, well, don't put your eyes all big like that. I sweat a lot.
Sorry. Wait. Has it only been 40 minutes?
Yeah, it's been 40 minutes and 45 seconds. Why? Did you have something you want to talk about?
Well, I just like wrote down some of their stuff.
Emily goes through all my things on Insta story. When I post a question of things, Emily likes to go through them all as well.
I'm your assistant.
Yes.
That's my job.
I know, but just know I see them as well as Emily.
Yeah. Because I collect. I mean, you always do it yourself as well.
Yes.
But like I do the initial data collection so that you can actually enjoy it and read them while I'm like sitting here like typing stuff out.
Yes.
Okay. We talked about that. We talked about tops, bottoms, and switches. Well, no. Did we? Have you ever talked about this before? Like what? Like explained? Like top,
what does
bottom,
that
and
mean?
switch?
Okay, so for men, it's different. For gay men, it's different than for gay women. That is a thing. People are like get all angry. They're like, TikTok's ruined it. No one knows what any of this means. For men, a top is the guy who inserts his penis, and a bottom is the guy who gets it in the butt. And then switches are the people who do both. For women, I think we have kind of redefined the words for our own group. So a top is dominant and a bottom is submissive. So, and then a switch is like, so a top is the person that does the stuff. The bottom is essentially a pillow princess who just likes stuff done to them. And then
which like, does that genuinely exist? Like where?
Yes, apparently. Not in my religion. I was going to be like, I don't want people to think this about either your girlfriend. So a switch is very, very common. And I know there's a lot of switches with a preference to one or the other. Like, like I would say, like you said, you're a switch, but you like to be dominated. So like, you enjoy being a top, but like when it comes to your turn, you want to be very submissive. Yeah. So I feel like switches are very, very common for lesbian relationships. For men, it's usually, from what I have heard, is just top or bottom. And then for lesbians, I feel it's very switch. Yeah. And then like people can be like better or enjoy one more than the other, but you reciprocate because you kind of have to and you kind of have to reciprocate for the other person to get off.
Yeah. I mean, like I know some people that like they get real close on their own being the top. Yeah. Like in, you know, a lesbian relationship, but then like they still like they
need a little wax on, wax off.
Yeah. Just yeah. So yeah, I switch. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know if there was much to talk about. I think maybe people were a little confused on what those terms meant, but top is the person who does things to the other. Bottom is the person who receives, and then switch is the person who or people who do both.
Well, because it really did get ruined on TikTok. Not ruined, but like it got misconstrued on TikTok because all these like hey mamas lesbians were like, oh, I'm top, and like made it seem like all they want to do is like give and not receive. When like I don't know, that just do what you want in the bedroom as long as it's consensual and everyone's happy.
I agree. Anyway, okay, was there anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah. Oh, well, someone did ask about masturbating, but I didn't know if you were comfortable talking about that.
I'm not going to talk about my experiences.
Okay.
I think it's not a negative thing if you aren't addicted to it. And you're with someone.
Can you be addicted to...
Yes,
Can
Yes.
you be addicted to masturbating?
Yes. It's also linked to addiction with porn. But there are people who are definitely I am not one. Now I feel like if I'm saying something that I'm like, people are, since I said,
Someone out there.
Somebody, so I've heard. No, that's definitely a thing.
Wait, like, define addicted. Like, how many times a day would categorize you as addicted?
I genuinely know another human being whom I met last year. Who it was a female, actually, because I've always related it to men because society has just hypersexualized men.
Yeah.
But who said she felt like she was going to like combust if she didn't every day. And she had to do it every single day. And she was like, I literally can't focus or think about anything else unless I do it. And I was like, that is an addiction. And she also couldn't get off unless she watched porn.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
like, I would say that was more of an addiction to masturbation than to porn, because she wasn't obsessed with watching porn. She just couldn't get off. But that's what watching porn does, is it desensitizes you. So you have to have that much stimulation in order to finish.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then,
interesting. Yeah. I think something is categorized as an addiction when it like starts to interfere with your life, right?
yes.
Like
And
you can't think about anything else, or
cannot function unless it's complete, unless it's done.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing.
All right.
Yeah.
I need exact numbers next time. How many times a day makes you an
Are you worried about something, Emily?
No, just well, I can't ask you. Okay, me and my bestie, we sit around and talk about this. Like, we are like a very, very, very sex positive household. Like,
yeah,
like it's just, we always talk about it, like, and not in like a weird way, but like we just ask questions and we're not embarrassed. And like,
yeah,
you know, because I live with two people my age and they're married. But yeah, we were
this
just
is a
talking
conversation
about
we can have off camera as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just need some reassurance here.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were talking the other day, like how young we were, like when we started doing that, and like our numbers varied greatly, and like, yeah, that was a bit concerning. And then, yeah, now this. Okay, I'll schedule another.
I didn't
therapy
figure it out
session
till
this week.
college. I didn't do it till college. I was told it was a sin, so I didn't attempt it.
Okay. Yeah. I also grew up in a super sex positive household where like we
Yes.
talked about it all the time, and yeah, whatever. That makes it really does make a difference, because if you're like shamed into thinking that like pleasuring yourself is a negative thing, then like of course it took you that long. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Interesting.
All right.
All
Let's end this here. What a bizarre podcast. All things sex.
Hope you liked it.
All things gay sex is actually what I think this should be called.
All things gay sex. I love it. Okay.
All right. Cool.
All things vagina haver sex.
Well, we talked about
we did talk about
gay men sex.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. If you have any other questions, please leave them below, because we're doing a follow-up in 2 weeks after Emily is going to attempt to apply what would Rachel Ballinger do in the bedroom. That makes me so uncomfortable. Please, no, we're not doing this. Scratch that idea. That's not happening. No. You're just going to
text you, what would you do in this scenario?
So she's positioned like this. She asked me
send you a
this, what do I
selfie.
say? No,
Hey,
don't you
so
fucking
do you
dare. No.
Hey, voice memo. Rachel.
You asked we asked about a line in the bedroom. That is a fucking line in the bedroom.
That's Rachel's hard limit.
I'm putting a line for myself in your fucking bedroom.
Thank you. Boundaries.
I set those.
Yes.
Anyway. All right. I love you. Please leave us questions and comments and whatever below. They are read. And tune in on normally Emily and I do podcasts, all things internet. New episodes every single Monday on this on our YouTube podcast channel, but then you can just find us on Spotify and iTunes or whatever. But we censor ourselves there. We still state our opinions, but we don't talk about sex and whatnots. So that's it. Okay,
That's it.
that's it. Follow Emily on everything. It's Emily Brostaff, and follow me. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Love you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Rachel Uncensored, the only place on the internet where you can find the uncensored version of me, Rachel Ballinger. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, or follow, or do whatever this platform tells you to do so that you can get notified every time I post a new episode. Love ya!